Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer and today I'm gamesplaining Tuki. So Tuki, according to the box, is a 2 to 4 player game. It's by Next Move Games. It came out last year, which is 2019. And it's a relatively simple game to explain and to get into. The playing of it, I find some people have a mind that does it really quickly, other people don't have that mind, and I've seen that happen with a few different games. This one in particular, it's a three-dimensional building game, dexterity game if you like, where you're putting coloured pieces vertically within a certain pattern that's on a card. And you're using some white pieces to hold them in those positions or to hold the height in those positions. That's okay, there's nothing wrong with the game. You roll the die to see which angle the card is going to go on, to see if the structure is able to touch the table or if it has to be off the table. It's relatively straightforward. The game goes until someone has been last 5 times. So you take the card when you're the last player in. If you're playing a larger than 2 player game, once someone has 5 cards, the other players play out. Whoever has the first to get to a point of the structure is the winner. There's a couple of things that can go wrong with this game, with the looking at the card and translating that into actual pieces in front of you. There's a high chance of missing a distance by one. There are little spots marked on the pieces that will be used, but it's really easy to accidentally put something on top of a thing rather than next to it or something to that effect. Once again, it's a relatively straightforward game, but the box says that it plays up to 4 players. In the box, there are enough pieces for only 3 players. And so it says that if you're playing a 4-player game, the player who is not building will take the card out, will roll the die, will say start and reveal the card for everyone else to build. Once they finish building, the person who sits out passes on, the person who was sitting out takes those pieces, and we continue on. I don't think that's really a 4-player game, to be 100% honest with you. I think this is a 3-player game that happens to have some vague rules to make it up to 4. They could have put enough pieces into the box to make it a 4-player game. Sure, it might have made it a little bit more expensive, but they could have put enough pieces into the box to get up to that number. I really struggle with that. I really struggle with this idea of, oh, we're playing a 4-player game, but it's only 3 of us are going to work at one real time. It's a struggle. I don't really like that. As a 3-player game, it's fine because you're all doing stuff. Now, having said all that, within the 4-player game, the person who's sitting out isn't going to be sitting out for long because each round only takes a few seconds, up to a minute, somewhere in that ballpark, depending on how difficult it is. But it's actually relatively quick to build the structures that are necessary. That whole, I'll sit out for a bit and then I'll sit back in, I don't know how to come at this. I dislike the idea of saying this is a 4-player game, to be 100% honest with you. I think this is a 3-player game. It works fine with 2. As 2-player game, you'll tend to find that one person will very heavily dominate unless both people have the same mindset of how to manipulate and think about stuff. Once again, with this game, it's very much a polar opposite type of thing. So if you are someone who understands structure and mechanisms and mechanics and all this other stuff, you're probably going to do really well at it. Whereas other brains, other mindsets look at it and go, I think this is going to go here. And as soon as they're doing that, they're lost. I think that Ghost Blitz is another game very similar in terms of depending on the mindset of the people playing. So if you've got people at the table who are all really structurally involved, they're going to do really well. If you've got someone at the table who doesn't quite get that part of their brain working, which is absolutely fine, by the way, this, however, may not be the game for them. What I found myself doing is covering the card, showing the person, counting down 3, 2, 1, and then start to give them a little bit of a head start. And that seems to have balanced it. So I played it last night with one other player and I was giving him the head start and I found that he was starting to win, so I reduced the length of that head start. And it's just a guess of, this long, yeah, that'll do, let's go. There's ways to balance the game. There's ways to give people a chance to play well. If you're not giving them a chance, they're probably not going to do well. They're not going to want to play it again. So there it is, Tuki. Please go ahead and watch my Gamesplaned Gamesplanation to get a feel for the game and how it actually plays. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplaned, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.